Streaming.
Okay. All right. August 3rd is tomorrow, right? That's what it is. Tomorrow's August 3rd. Yep, it is. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Games podcast. I'm Bobby Shortle. It is August 3rd, 2017, and I'm here with Mr. Hugh Perry.
Wayne's World. Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent.
Mr. Matt Wood.
Hi. Yes, hi. Hi, everybody.
And Miss Kelsey Lavati.
Hi.
I really derailed.
Before we started recording, we you did. We were explaining to Kelsey what Wayne's World was.
I know what it is.
That's not what you were saying before we were recording.
You're like, what
and
you old guys
you can't prove otherwise.
I
Kelsey.
said he's Canadian.
Yeah, you know who Mike Myers is.
Wayne is from what? Peoria or
Peoria, Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a state in the U.S.
You're too young to know what Illinois is.
Yeah. It was big in the 80s.
Hi, I'm in Delaware.
Oh man. I don't know about you guys, but on my end of the video chat, Hugh has an awesome desync between when his mouth moves and when the vocals actually come through, and it's pretty entertaining.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on a news report from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, because at the beginning, it just looks like you were like screaming silence into the mic, and then 2 seconds later, we got the Wayne's World song. So that was pretty awesome.
That's how I'm doing these. I've got a Godzilla t-shirt on. I'm going for like an old school, like poorly dubbed type vibe.
Poor dub.
Yeah, totally. It's good. It's good. It works. It's working for you for sure. So we've got some mostly games to talk about this week. Not a lot of big news going on. Things have been pretty slow. News-wise the past couple of weeks. But we've had a couple of new games hit and some interesting stuff, I think, to talk about. The game I've been most excited about this month, it just came out yesterday, and so I haven't had a chance to play it yet, which is Tacoma from the Fulbright people who made Gone Home. That's out on Xbox One and Steam right now. I haven't got a chance to play it yet, but I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I'll definitely report back next week on that show, on that game. Sorry. But let's talk about the games we have been playing. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock here for a nice little lightning round. Or 3. I usually do 3 minutes, don't I? Is that what I usually do in this lightning round thing? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a while. 7 minutes? Oh, okay. All right. Cool. All right. So I'm going to go to Kelsey first. You've got 3 minutes and go.
So I started playing a new game, Sundered. It's from Thunder Lotus Games. Sam played it too, so if you watched Our Lady's Choice last week or this week, she did play about an hour of it. Yeah, it came out Friday, I think. I won't say too much because I was writing a review about it, but I will say that I really enjoy it. And I think if you liked Hyper Light Drifter like I did, then you'll like this game. It's a pretty standard like Metroidvania type of game. But what's interesting about this game is that the more you die, the better you become. So essentially, like once you reach the end of your health bar, you are transported to like a sanctuary, and from there you can increase your stats, which is pretty cool. So depending on how many enemies you've killed between your deaths, then you can upgrade accordingly. So that's really interesting. I'm excited to play more. It looks pretty like large and confusing, so probably spend a lot of time on that. And other than that, I've been playing Overwatch with Justin. Last week we played with Hugh. It was fun. We tried Doomfist.
Fun? I'm not sure. That's
it. It was fun.
Well, yeah,
you guys are sore losers, but it was fun.
Yes. Well, yeah.
I had fun. That's it, though.
All right.
My memory of
Sundered, I've heard some stuff about. Go ahead. Go ahead, you.
Oh, I was just going to say my memory of the stream last week was us just having a terrible run of games, and every sort of 60 seconds or so, as Kelsey going, "Fucking Christ," and it was great.
I've never used the Lord's name in vain. Thank you.
Oh boy! All right. So moving on, Sundered. I've heard interesting things. So like the placement of the rooms is always the same, but the rooms themselves, like what's in them, changes every run. Is that correct, Kelsey?
Yeah. That's interesting. So yeah, I was watching Sam play, and the area that she was in had less vases to break basically than when I had gone in the same room. Like I had pretty much every step up that you could have taken. There was a vase there for me to break. They didn't all have treasure in it. But when I watched Sam do it, she was in the space and didn't have to break them. She got a similar, like what looked like a similar name, but yeah, so they'll always seem the same and they'll always be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's interesting. These people made a game previously called Jotun. It's Jotun, which was a little bit more of a kind of action adventure Zelda type title than this one is, but looks interesting. I'm definitely there's two other games I need to play before I get to that as far as indie games go, but something that's definitely on my radar. Matt, you have video game related things to talk about in your lightning round, so you have 3 minutes and go.
Books, which are not video games, but they're
nerd.
Yeah, I know. It's not cool. It's books about comic books. Sorry, it is. Jeez.
No, wrong show.
God, you're not wrong there. It is books about video games. Well, the first one definitely is. The second one, yeah, kind of. It's a tie-in. But I read Box Brown's Tetris, the games people play, which Box Brown, he's like an independent comic guy. Who's the publisher? Is it First Second? I can't remember. Anyway, it's basically just a graphic novel that tells the story of the rights of Tetris, and then that whole mess, with the 1989, the whole shift in government over in Russia, and just how he was he never collected anything off of the rights of a game that millions and millions and millions of people played. And it's fascinating. It's an incredibly interesting work, so much so that I'm thinking about writing a lesson plan for my students, because I thought, because it gets into the whole communism angle, it gets into legality and things like that. I thought it might be a little too inside for like a younger reader to get into it, but it does a really good job explaining all of it in a relatively user-friendly way. So I think I'm going to look into that, because I've been trying to incorporate more comic stuff into my curriculum, because whatever, it's my classroom, by God. It's a really good book. It's incredibly interesting. And if you've read his other work, he wrote a biography of Andre the Giant 2 years ago, and that was incredible as well. He's a great writer. He's a very interesting guy. I can't wait to see more stuff from him in the future. And Hugh held up a copy of the second thing that I'm currently in the middle of. It is Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. And Hugh, what do you think? I mean, I know this is like lightning round and whatever, and there's a timer, but
about halfway through it, and I'm enjoying it. It's so far it's very sort of like go on a mission, the aftermath, go on a mission, the aftermath type thing. But it's cool.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's a good sort of really cool sort of diverse group of characters, each with their own sort of distinct personality. So even though right now it's not like maybe later in the book sort of like a through line of like what the cusp of the end of the book is going to be is yet to reveal itself.
Sure.
I'm enjoying spending time with the characters because you've got, one sort of like a bit snarky and likes making jokes, and you've got Aiden, who's very sort of kind of goes back and forth. She's very serious and driven, but then she also likes a joke. And there's a good like really group of distinct characters. So it's interesting getting to know a character that you're going to play as in a video game before you get hold of the video game. But yeah,
exactly.
I love kind of like sort of what Bobby said in the past about like the Star Wars universe is like having characters who are there as what we know is taking place, but they're sort of weaving in and out of it. So you kind of like the book starts off and you get sort of like her view of like the Battle of Yavin, and then it goes from there. So yeah, so far halfway through, I'm having a good time with it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, the thing that excites me about it is this is a great testament to what that game is going to be. It's banking on us being invested in a character, which is pretty much the polar opposite of what Battlefront 1 it didn't give us any characters to care about.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good promissory maybe note. It's just I'm invested in the character. The thing I like about it, it kind of reminds me of Rogue One, but it's the Empire's like version of ragtag group of people, even though they're not too ragtag. But I don't know. I think it's interesting, and it does have an opportunity to do that thing that too many Star Wars novels do that focus on the Empire, where it has that one member of the group that's like, oh, maybe the Empire's not right. It's kind of avoiding that, and I'm kind of glad because
they're all like hardcore.
Sometimes I like playing as the bad guy in video games.
Deep sort of you know Empire loyal people who they've been chosen for this like undercover group of missions, and they that's what they'll do. They will like fight and die for the Empire. And like I say, I think the Rogue One comparison is actually quite good actually, because you get Rogue One is about like just rebels who will like unshakable in their beliefs, and this is the same but from the Empire point of view. So that's a good comparison.
I can't. It makes me want to play the video game more and focus on the story, and see what that story is all about. Where that just wasn't a thing last time around, and so I gotta wait 4 or 5 more months before that happens.
Yep, November.
So enough time for me to
16th.
forget all these characters.
So
yeah,
I'd be interested to see if like more characters from the book are in the game as well. Like if the whole squad is there.
Did you read the Battlefront 1 novel?
No, I didn't.
No, I read about 30 pages of it, and then I was like, this is pointless.
Was it just a bunch of people running up and dying and then getting respawned and then running up and dying?
It kind of felt like the literary equivalent of that, yes. I remember like and that was like when Star Wars like fever pitch, like right before The Force Awakens was coming out, and then like I was like, oh wow, like this should be an easy thing. All you have to do is say Star Wars and I'm interested. But no, that novel was not good. So it's good that they're turning it around.
All right. Hugh,
Hello.
I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock for you, sir.
All righty.
And go.
Okay, so yesterday I think I kind of instigated a bit of a thing via our Discord chat, in which I persuaded numerous people to pick up and start playing CS:GO, which is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I played a few rounds of it earlier on. Started off playing against bots just to get a feel for it, because I haven't played Counter-Strike since the original. Feel like handles very similarly. Very weird in the fact that, like you said earlier on, Bobby, before we started recording, it's odd that you can't like look down the sights of your gun while you're firing. It's very just sort of like aim and shoot. So it's kind of like this odd mix of like you gotta have like really good skills to like point and aim and shoot and where you're going, but it's you gotta be fast about it as well. And I think like I kept clicking as if I wanted to raise my gun to aim down the sights. So that's going to take a bit of getting used to. I played a few rounds online against people, and it didn't go as bad as I was expecting it to. I got a few kills. But my main thought process behind getting it is to get a bit more sort of down and dirty with a straight up like PC shooter to improve, hopefully, my skills in PUBG. So thankfully, because I already own Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Source, I only paid like half of the full cost of CS:GO, because it comes as part of a 3-pack, so you get like a discount on the rest of the bundle. So the other thing I've been playing recently as well, which I'm enjoying, is Fortnite, which is a mix of sort of like looting, fort building, and sort of horde mode, like tower defense type thing. And it's really cool. You start off and you've just got like this phase where you've got this sort of map where you can run around, loot as you please, gather resources, ammo. You even get like traps, like video game logic, where you sort of like you'll search a bush and you'll find like this contraption that fires darts if you attach it to a wall. And then you go into sort of like you'll place something, you'll have to build defenses around it, and then you trigger it, and then you start the horde phase, which lasts like some 5 minutes, some are 7. I played one yesterday, which was 10. It's got surprisingly like deep amount of systems, like a large skill tree. There's a research tree. You build teams of like squads and stuff, which hasn't fully been explained, and that's one of the downsides of it, is it doesn't do a very good job of I'm just going to carry on. It doesn't do a very good job of explaining all of its systems. You get a tutorial.
I know.
But like the whole thing with like the first time I played it, I ran out of traps to put around my fort, and I was just like, well, I've run out of traps, what do I do? And at no point so far has the game told you that you can just go into your menu and craft more traps from the resources you get, as well as like weapons and stuff. So it needs to do better in sort of explaining the systems of the game to you. But that being said, it's really good fun. Quite a chilled out game, actually. I'm just like enjoying sort of kicking back and just looting things and then just shooting a bunch of zombies. But yeah, I'm having tons of fun with it. Only gripe is that the tutorial needs to be a bit more broad and explain itself better. So that was my 10-minute lightning round.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. Yeah, it's an interesting game. I played a little bit of it, and it's cool. Like you mentioned, it's chilled out because you kind of get to decide when like the horde is gonna come. Like you have as much time as really you want to get things set up, and it's nice in that way. And it's got like a little bit of that Minecraft like building element to it, where you can get very very creative with how you end up putting together your traps and setting everything up. Like you said, it gets a little bit it's a little bit obtuse, and it has like 3 different modes or 4 different modes. Like there's combat mode, there's like build mode, there's like edit mode, and they're all separate kind of phases. And you have to, I think a lot of the game is going to end up being like, okay, knowing quickly like which mode you need to be in and all that kind of stuff. So it's, it's an interesting way to go about things, I think, for a game like that. There's like a bunch of different currencies and stuff like that. It's still in early access. But it's one of these weird early access games where not weird early access game. It's going to end up being free to play in 2018 when it like officially comes out. But if you want to play it now, you have to pay like at least I think $40 I think to play it at this point.
I paid 32 quid, so yeah, probably about $40 I'd imagine.
Yeah. Adam Shaw, who has been a part of the site for a very long time, he does Talking Valiant. He was kind enough to give me a PC code for the game because I think he bought like the mega bundle pack that comes with like 4 copies of the game.
Thank you, Adam.
He gave one to Hugh as well. And it was cool to try it out. I'm definitely gonna try more of it out as well. I like the way it looks a lot. It's got a cool art style that I knew it was gonna look like that because this is one of these weird games that they showed off like I think 4 or 5 years ago at this point. It was supposed to be the first game running on the Unreal Engine 4, and then it just sort of has been in like private beta for years now at this point. Like there were all these like weird reports that would come out that like people in Seattle are getting to play Fortnite, and now it's like it's now out to play for everybody. So interesting and a fun thing. I'm actually gonna start my 3 minutes right now, even though I used some of it on that. I played a little bit of Pyre, which is the new game from Supergiant Games. They made Bastion and Transistor. They are known for their art style, their music, their presentation being kind of wonderful, but with varying different kinds of gameplay. Bastion is an action RPG. Transistor is more of a like strategy game, and this game is. I've never really played anything like it. It's a visual novel for the most part, mixed with a competitive sports element. So the plot of the game is that you are these people who are in this wasteland. It's sort of like purgatory. You've been banished by the ruling class for various reasons. The character you're playing is because they had the gall to learn to read, and you're not allowed to read in this world. So these people are searching for a way to get back, and you afford them the opportunity because you can read the texts that they can't read. And what you discover are there are these ancient rites which you can compete in, and if you win, you can win your way back into the main world. And that those ancient rites are this sort of 3-on-3 soccer / basketball / I don't know game where your goal is to basically score and throw the ball into the opponent's pyre and get it down to 0. And if you win, then you have a chance to go on. The cool thing about the game is that whether you win or lose the rights, the game doesn't give you a game over and you do it again. It just continues the sort of narrative of the game in that you'd lost that thing. I've only played about 2 hours of it. Justin beat it. So I'm sure next week he'll have much more to say about it. But I'm enjoying it, and I love the way it looks and the way it sounds and all that kind of stuff. They're always great at that. Bastion is one of my favorite games of all time. I have mixed feelings on Transistor, but this one I'm really enjoying so far. I finally played a little bit of Lawbreakers, the Lawbreakers beta. That game seems crazy and cool, but my hour I spent with it, I was A, terrible at it, and B, I don't think I really got it. The sort of objective modes. I didn't really understand what I was supposed to be doing for most of the time, so it was really just me about trying out characters, and I think it seems like a cool game. I'm interested to sink my teeth into it sort of long term to kind of understand it, but it didn't. Whereas something like Overwatch, like the first time I played it, I kind of immediately understood what I was supposed to do and that kind of thing. Lawbreakers, I didn't have that same feeling, but it's definitely nuts and very fast and has some cool abilities and some cool characters. So I'm definitely into that aspect of it. I played a little CS:GO, like he was saying, and of course some Player Unknown's Battlegrounds. But that's about it for mine.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Hugh, have you played any Lawbreakers at all?
Yeah, I played the first I think the closed beta. I played a couple of hours of it, but yeah, I know what you mean. And just an hour with it is a bit tricky because it's not overly, but it doesn't really tell you much about like what your objectives are when it throws you into a game. But I think I played probably maybe 5 or 6 hours of the closed beta. I really enjoyed it. It is like crazy, and when you hit sort of like those like zero gravity areas and you're just like floating around, and you can make yourself travel in a certain direction by like firing your gun, and you sort of like go in the opposite direction to where your bullets are going and stuff. And it's got a few cool little things about it that make it different. Like it's got a bit more of a like hardcore like attitude about it compared to like something like Overwatch, which is very sort of like, you know, the old sort of hands-on hip cheesy hero type thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's
definitely
different.
drawing. Sorry.
No, carry on. Go.
No, it's drawing from that sort of old school Unreal Tournament, which, I mean, Cliff Bleszinski, who is the lead designer on this game, he created Unreal Tournament. It's drawing from that sort of era, Quake, that sort of era of shooter, because it's very, very fast. And the abilities are kind of nuts. So I definitely want to play more of it. I definitely started sort of, I was having the thing where if I was on my team, I would have been very angry at me because I was just like trying to figure out how to kill people, and I wasn't really playing the modes, you know, because I was just trying to get down the basic mechanics of it, and I had no idea what I was doing as far as like the team-based aspect of it. But it looked great too. It moved really, really well, moved really fast, and the shooting feels really nice as well. So I'll definitely give it a try when it's out in full, and I can actually sink some time into it. But yeah, and I put a little bit more Dream Daddy. Everything I've played is now on YouTube. We're not very far, a couple hours into it at this point. I just met I slept with Robert, but then I met I met the teacher, Hugo, I think his name is, and I didn't meet him, but I ran into like the guy who looks like a vampire, Damien. That's his name. That's the guy. Yeah. I think the only one I haven't met is like the burly bearded guy, who I think you meet in the park if you like take your dog for a walk, and I haven't done that. So, and that's you have like a Pokemon battle. Yeah, exactly. You have like a Pokemon battle about your kids or whatever. I've seen like other Let's Play
also
of it. So it's that's pretty cool. The game is.
You haven't walked your dog?
No, go ahead. No, I haven't walked my dog. They only gave me one option to do it right at the beginning. It gave me an option to do it, and I was like, no, I want to go get coffee. And then since then, it hasn't asked me if I want to walk my dog. So, and then I went out and got really drunk and had a one-night stand. So, you know, things have been busy for me. And I just found out my daughter is having like emotional problems or something. So there's a lot coming at me really fast. So I got to deal with that as a dad. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. It's still really good writing. It's really nice that it doesn't play the fact there's a lot of jokes in the game, but it doesn't play the fact that you're playing a gay character as a joke. Like that's not the joke of the game, which I think is a really cool thing. Kelsey, have you played any more Dream Daddy since last week?
A little bit. I went on a date with Damien.
Okay, how was that?
It was good. It was a bit hard though. I'm gonna have to replay it because I like getting like flowers and eggplants. I don't like getting the little black dots that surround them when they're mad at you. And I broke his gargoyle, so I want to replay it so that I can fix the gargoyle.
That is the weirdest sentence I have ever heard in my entire life, spoken in such a straight and like journalistic way, like an analytic
Kelsey
way.
Tweets.
Yeah. I really like flowers and eggplants. I don't like the black box that you get when they're mad at you.
How big was his gargoyle?
I forgot about the best part.
Yeah.
It's in 3 parts and it's really difficult, okay? And if anyone's past this, please help me because I can't do it.
Oh man. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I am really honestly enjoying it. It's not just a joke. Like I am honestly enjoying the game, so I'm excited to play some more of it.
Have you ever
Let's
played
do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Sorry, have you ever played Hatful Boyfriend?
I have not. I've always thought about it, but that seems to me like pure ironic joke, right? It's like a pigeon dating thing.
Well,
Yeah, but it's great. And
have you played Hatful Boyfriend, Matt?
Yeah, dude.
Oh wow.
Have you met Mara?
Oh, that's true. That's true. I forgot about Mara in the equation.
It was the easiest of like, hey, Mara, I think you like this game. And she's like, no, I won't. And I'm like, it's pigeons and you date. And she's like, okay.
It's from Japan.
I'm in. Yeah.
It's from Japan, yeah. Yeah, she was like, oh.
Yeah. Did she play Mystic Messenger?
No, but that sounds like something she would find amazing.
It's a bunch of like anime boys, and they text you. They text you all day long. So I played it last year.
Do the anime boys are they active in sports?
I think one of them is a swimmer.
Oh, okay. Yep, there it is. That's all.
One of them's the mysterious one. One of them's like the cute blonde one, I guess. One of them's like serious and he has black hair and glasses and he works as a businessman. And then there's the other one, I think he's the swimmer, and there was a fifth one, but I forgot who he was. But the game makes you feel special.
Yeah. Oh.
You are special,
Kelsey. I really like your. Yeah, you are special, Kelsey. It's true. I really like your businessman voice.
I'm a businessman.
I'm a businessman. This is how businessmen talk. This is how all people who in business, they talk like this. I enjoyed that very much.
Mystical matchmaker.
Mystic Messenger.
Mystic Messenger.
Matt, you need to tell Mara that there's a Madoka Magica mobile game coming later this year as well.
I'm not going to remember that.
There's a what?
There's a Madoka Magica iOS game coming later this year. I'm getting it.
I'll try to write that down.
I love Madoka.
What is it?
He's writing it down so he can try to figure a way to block all news of it getting to Mara's ears.
I can contact Mara, it's fine.
Yeah. We'll all text Mara the day it comes out in a mass text.
What's up with the M alliteration in all these names?
Yes.
Mara is going to play Mystical Messenger and Madoka
Magica. Yeah. Close enough.
Like Magica Dispel from DuckTales?
Yes.
Best game on the NES.
Here we go again.
According to you.
It really is.
What about Mario Brothers 3, Matt? What about Super Mario Brothers 3? Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty stagnant format. I get it. He can jump.
Oh, no.
The only thing cool about it is that one level where they give you a shoe that you can hop in, and the one level.
Karibo shoe? Yes, it is cool. It is very cool.
Level.
Airships, Matt? They didn't do airships in the other games.
Yeah, but after the ninth time, I'm airshipped out. So
the Tanuki
DuckTales has
suit?
a little thing called Variety.
Okay. All right.
You can you have a cane that you can use as a golf club and a pogo stick. Bobby,
that's true.
I don't know why we're arguing right now.
Because you're wrong. You're wrong.
Oh.
Mario can be a raccoon that flies or a toad, an actual frog, not a species of toad.
Do you know how much money Scrooge McDuck makes?
Oh, okay. That's what you want. That's how you want to play it, Matt. That's how you want to play it.
Sold me on it.
Money isn't the measurement. But how much money does Mario collect over his or his many, many, many adventures?
Pennies. But Scrooge McDuck collects diamonds. I mean, Hugh, Kelsey. I mean,
He swims in them.
anything? Thank you. Thank you.
Why does he put a bathing suit on though?
Because
Suit on to swim in the money. It doesn't make any sense.
he's old school. I bet he wears a suit when he gets on a plane. He does, in fact. Whenever Launchpad takes off, he's wearing he keeps up appearances. Swimsuit.
Oh,
When
I'm
you go
not saying-
swimming,
Mind
You are
you,
so
if
fit.
his pit of money is anything like your average ball pit, most of his money is probably covered in piss.
yeah.
Well, he's the only one who swims in it though. No one else swims in it.
I
He's
don't
the
know if he
no.
does piss in it or not.
It's like down like 7,000 stairs in his place or whatever.
He's old.
But I'm not saying that he should be naked jumping into the money pit. I'm saying I don't understand why he puts on different clothes to jump in the money pit.
Only when we see him swimming is he wearing the swimsuit. I guarantee.
Only when the cameras are on?
off.
Yeah. He's
It's
balls
his
The
own
out.
documentary isn't filming
That's
him.
his house. He does what the hell he wants.
Thing is, if he misjudges the jump
Swim naked in
and
money.
it's like
Mhm.
ball on coin contact, that's gonna hurt.
He's a duck. You don't have balls.
No balls for him. Did you know? And this is
Sorry.
other duck trivia, that when Howard the Duck originally came out, he
Okay.
didn't wear pants, and then Disney like sued them and said like that one of the provisions for him being able to continue was he always had to wear pants, so he wouldn't get confused with Donald Duck.
And now
Now they own him.
Yeah, they own him now, which is funny.
They own him, and guess what? Pants still. But you
Yeah,
know.
pants still. How nuts is it that was in a lawsuit? Your cartoon duck must always wear pants, so he's not confused with our pantsless cartoon duck. That's a crazy thing to have an illegal document. It's a nuts thing to have an illegal document. Okay. Anyway,
We continue to talk about ducks.
I've been trying to ask this listener question for like 20 minutes, so we're gonna ask it right now.
All
This
right.
comes from Andy, who's at Historic Me on Twitter, and he asks, "What do you do instead of playing games when you have burnout? I have at least 6 games to play, but don't feel like touching any of them." Matt, what do you do when you're not feeling playing games?
Well, I understand that sentiment of like I have so many games and I don't want to play any of them. But I think one thing that's like really important for you to do if that happens to you is take a break. Don't force yourself to play the video games. I mean, one of the last things you want to do is burn yourself out permanently from a hobby that you really do enjoy. And you know, life goes on. You might eventually not want to play games anymore or whatever, and want to do adult stuff like pay your taxes and go to PTA meetings. But you know, it's important that you, don't force yourself to play video games. But what I do whenever I'm not playing games is I'm comics, man. Actually, the past week I subscribed to the WWE Network, and
Okay.
I also remember there was a time when I didn't have a tooth, and watching the WWE guys, and
do you want to
I'm
be
from
one
Arkansas.
of the bushwhackers?
Oh yeah, like those guys. Yeah, I like those guys. No, I there's always something to keep yourself occupied. But yeah, comics is my big one. I read a lot of comics. I mow the lawn.
I muted my microphone. Hugh, what about you?
Mostly I sit with my PlayStation on, going back and forth through the icons for the games for hours and hours, going, what shall I play? I don't know what to play. Maybe I won't play anything. Really, what should I play? No, I can't think of anything. But I do have times like that. Like sometimes I switch my console on and I'm just like, I think I just switch it on by force of habit. And I think, like, kind of like Matt said, I think if I need to sort of get myself, I think I need to get more sort of, if I'm switching my PlayStation on, it needs to be like, right, switching this thing on, I'm going to play this game. This is what I'm going to do. Switch it on and load this game up. But if I don't feel like playing any video games, I mean, these days, I'm kind of getting back into sort of reading novels a lot more. Like I said, I'm halfway through Inferno Squad. I've just picked up a copy of The Handmaid's Tale, and just sort of, find stuff that I do enjoy that I haven't done for a while that, I've forgotten about, really. Like, I started reading some of my old comics again. Like, I don't pick up anywhere near as many comics as I used to, mainly because I'm fed up of Marvel, but that's a whole different conversation. So, yeah.
Wrong podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, generally it's just a case of sort of finding, like, I think to myself, right, what haven't I done for a while that I enjoy, whether it's like a while ago I bought, there's a website called Udemy, which is basically just like online courses in sort of all sorts of things, and they have sales quite often, and I picked up a couple of courses in like writing code. So I've got one for like C#, C++, like building games in Unity, and I've got another one which is about I think there's one around like Unreal as well. So I think it's just a case of sort of like remove yourself, like Matt said. You don't want to like. I think I am pretty bad for like almost forcing myself to like, I feel like I have to play a video game, and I think recently I've finally sort of broken out of that habit when I do feel a bit jaded. So it's just about sort of like, right, I don't know what to play. What can I do that I enjoy that'll just take my mind away from it? And then eventually I'll just go, yeah, I fancy picking up Overwatch again. And then I'll just, I'll be back into video games and crack on from there. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Kelsey, what about you?
I'm pretty similar. I have a lot of gaming slumps some of the time because I think I lose, like, interest pretty frequently if a game's too long. So I go through this a lot. But taking breaks makes me crave games more. I think watching gameplays of the game that I'm semi interested in makes me more interested in it, because you get hyped when someone else is hyped about a game. So I tend to do that a lot, and it makes me more excited for the game, so I'm likely to pick it up, read reviews, stuff like that. Otherwise, I play like classics. So I actually just sold my Wii U this week, but I used to turn on like my Wii U and play like Mario Kart or something like simple just to keep me motivated to play, and then maybe I'll try a game that I was sort of interested but didn't feel like playing that day. Otherwise, I take a break for a day or two, and I usually read books. Or I play iOS games. Sometimes that gives me like I don't want the release, I guess, of playing a video game without stressing myself out playing a larger video game, perhaps on like the PS4 or whatever.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I mean, for me, I get in the same situation that Andy's talking about, where I have a bunch of games in front of me, and because it seems so daunting and like, oh, I have 6 games to play, and that's like 100 hours, and like, how am I going to do it? Like, I have that analysis paralysis. Like, okay, I'm just not going to do it, And I think one of the things that I do sometimes for that, when it's not going away from games, is I just go like, okay, I'm just going to play one of them, and I'll play one of them, and I'm not going to worry about the other one, and I'll just compartmentalize it enough so that I can get through one. And once I'm through one, I'm like, okay, good, I did that. Now I can see if I want to do something else. And it's like that. But I find it's good, not necessarily an iOS game for me, but to have a game that I have no that doesn't have a finish to it, which makes it easier for me to sort of use it as a like palate cleanser. I mean, part of the reason why I like playing Overwatch and why I like playing PUBG is that there is no ending, right? There's no like I mean, the ultimate goal is to win, especially in PUBG, but like even if after I win, I'm not going to stop playing the game. So it's just like I can put 20 minutes into it and then I can feel like good. Like, oh, I did a run, I did something in a video game, I'm good. But when it comes to like when I'm really done with games, and I just want to like relax and sort of chill out, I like to binge watch TV shows. That's a big thing that I'll do. I'll suddenly realize, oh man, I haven't watched the latest season of Silicon Valley, or I haven't watched the latest season of this, or there's this new Netflix show, DuckTales, exactly. There's this new Netflix show that is out that people have been saying cool things about, and I haven't checked it out yet. Let me jump into it and try it out. TV is like my ultimate relax thing, because even if it's a very intensive show that I have to pay attention to, it's not nearly as intensive having to play a game, right? That I have to focus on and have to be, good at. So that's usually my thing. I'm not a big like rewatcher of things, so I don't rewatch a lot of movies and stuff like that, or replay things I've already played. That's not really my thing, but I will put on something that I've been meaning to watch or something like that, or read. Definitely. When I was reading comics a lot and I got burnt out on those, I would go to like reading novels. That's what I would do to sort of break up that thing for me. But that's what I would do. Did we totally lose Kelsey?
I think so. It looks like. Yep, she's gone.
Yeah, okay. She just dropped. Okay. Oh,
you saying you rewatch things reminds me.
There she is.
Like,
she's back.
Star Wars. Like that's always my number one fallback at all times. I'll just put like Empire on and just rejoice in the glory of the greatest movie ever made.
It's weird. I'm the same way, where I can just like fall into like Clone Wars and just start watching those. I've probably seen every episode too many times, but I've never been burnt out. And I also I'm married to an enabler, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Just a small one. Just a small enabler.
Just a small one. I think for me, I used to do that a lot when I was in like college and in grad school. I would rewatch stuff a lot because it was easy when I was like doing homework or I was studying or something like that to have something on in the background that I had seen a bunch of times. Like I can't even tell you how many times I watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy in college and post college. So many times. But I am not, like I said, a big rewatcher. But yeah, I think it's important to keep your hobbies, as hypocritical as this for me to say right now because of what we do, keep your hobbies as hobby-like as possible so that they don't feel like work. And the biggest danger with doing something like this is that you can feel like you must play everything, you must read everything, you must do whatever and everything. And yeah, I mean, it's good to play a lot so you have a good sort of breadth of knowledge and you can speak to the things and you can help people's purchasing decisions. But if you're forcing yourself to do it and you're not having fun doing it, because sometimes I get in the mood where I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna friggin' pump through stuff and I'm gonna play everything with my head to the grindstone and play, and I love it. But so there are sometimes where I'm like, no, I just need a week where I just sort of like chill out and just do what I feel like doing.
Yeah.
I think it's also a good idea to diversify the things that you like in the medium that you enjoy. So like if you're into video games and the only thing you play is like shooters or fighting games, like try a puzzle game, try something a little bit different. That way I mean, it's a good palate cleanser,
Yeah. Or,
for sure.
you need,
for sure.
or find something new within that thing. So say like when I built my PC, that really gave me that was like a breath of fresh air in terms of like me as a gamer, and it still is. Like I was out of PC gaming for years, and now I'm back into it, and I'm still sort of like finding my feet, and I'm still getting to grips with like playing with the mouse and keyboard. But not only that is sort of like I was I'm basically sort of in the process of my room where my TV is. Like, this is my bedroom, and behind that wall behind me, if you're watching the stream, is my room where my TV is, where my console is, and that. And I've got a sofa in there, but it's a bit cramped. So I've basically decided this is my project now is to get rid of that sofa, get myself a chair, and eventually I'm going to get myself a decent gaming chair, and I'm going to move my PC into that room. I'm going to set my monitor up as a second screen for when I'm streaming and doing various other things, and just like freshen up like the act of playing video games, so it feels different. Like, it breaks up the routine of just like, right, I'm just going to sit down here, my stuff's set up as it always was, and so on and so forth, and just freshen it up and make it feel like although you're still gaming, you're doing something a bit different, and it's a bit new and a bit more sort of fun for you and works better for you, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good thing. I think, Kelsey, you're finally back with us, and you're stable right now. So.
Oh my god! I don't know what was happening.
Good to finally have you stable.
Yeah. Here's another listener question. This is from John D. He says, with the release of the new 2DS XL and Nintendo seemingly phasing out 3D, is the platform still considered 3DS, or is it just DS now? Matt,
does the new 2D? Well, does it play DS games? I'm sure it does.
Yeah, yes, it does. All the 3DSs play DS games.
Okay, I just never heard. I remember when that commercial came out, or that trailer for it came out, and it said you can play a huge backlog of our 3DS games, and I thought that's strange that they're not mentioning DS as well, even though I know DS games aren't like on the market, but still.
And also, it's been, Matt, like 7 years.
Oh, I know, but I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that the backwards compatibility. Yeah, I've always considered DS games like when Game Boy Advance was a thing, I still considered Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance to be all part of the same family.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where obviously at the time the 3DS came out, 3D was the hotness, and naming it the 3DS, made sense, because it was very easy to say, like, this is a DS, but it's 3D. So it was like very easy for them to name it that and do that. But I think naming your device after a technology is always something that gets a little bit like weird, because especially a gaming console, because when you make it a 2D, then it's a 2DS. So it's really a DS2, is really what it is, because calling it a 2DS is just that's what the first DS was a 2DS. Like, so it's a weird thing to call it,
you've heard the news, right? That their new system's gonna be the 4KS.
Oh, nice, Matt. Good one.
They couldn't resist.
Good one, man. Though I will say that new 2DS is a nice looking piece of hardware. Like, it makes me want to get it for no reason, because I haven't played my 3DS in 2 years. But I'm like, this is nice.
Last week, for the first time.
Matt.
I know. We went to San Diego, and I was like, there's gonna be so many street passes, because the last time we went, like, it was a big thing. Like, Animal Crossing had just come out. And it was like, street passing was awesome. I was surprised, not that many street passes. I have like 5 a day. It's like, I guess that's not a thing anymore.
It's past its time, Matt. It's past its time.
Yeah, but I mean, with
regards to flimsy. I heard it feels. Oh, sorry.
With regards to whether they're phasing out 3D. I mean, today was a pretty big announcement in the fact that there's a Persona game coming out, and they specified for 3DS. So that says to me that it is going to be a 3D game. So if they're still like bringing out like that's a big announcement, considering the popularity of that series already, and the way Persona 5 has kind of like just blown the hinges off in terms of like worldwide audience, that seems to me kind of like a sort of benchmark announcement for that system. So if they're still bringing out and announcing games of that caliber, then I think there's still a bit of life in the old dog yet, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, the 3DS is gonna survive for sure. It's just Nintendo has created this unneeded confusion about like their systems because they have a 2D and 3D variant of their handheld. But was it the Fire Emblem game, Matt, that didn't have 3D support at all?
Yeah, well, it did,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a gameplay element at all. And like, it was like whenever there was like a cutscene, like an animated cutscene, just wasn't there. They just were like, no, that would take 2 hours. We're not going to do that.
Right. There's some game though that either is coming out or has come out that doesn't have
the new
3D
Fire
in it at all.
Emblem. The new Fire Emblem Warriors is going to be a new 3DS exclusive game, kind of like that Xenoblade game was.
Yeah.
What I was surprised by, and this is not a joke, there was really an announcement. They are still putting out the Wedge 2DSs, and it's like an $80 bundle where you get like the new Super Mario Brothers. And I was like it's weird, right? I thought they would focus more on just the one thing, but I don't know, Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly.
Can never be too many SKUs.
No.
So they're doing that, and some cool stuff. Some stuff's coming to the Switch. Overcooked just came to the Switch, which is
Apparently
a really
it's a
awesome
mess.
game. They announced the 2 Resident Evil. Yeah, I know. I heard it's like it's messed up. There's a big patch. They've already reported there's a patch coming. The 2 Resident Evil Revelations games are coming to the Switch, which are both definitely worth playing. It's cool. They announced that Stardew Valley will be coming this year, and then the multiplayer will be coming early next year, which is pretty cool. So some cool stuff for the Switch, and they also the free games for PS Plus and Xbox Live Gold this month are pretty good. Like Just Cause 3 on the PS4, which is pretty neat. Slime Rancher for Xbox One, which is an indie game I've wanted to play for like almost a year now, is free, which I'm excited to play. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It's fun, right? It looks fun to me. It looks cute and like interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Nice. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which is the standalone. It was DLC for Black Flag, but it's standalone. It's a really, really good piece of DLC. You can play without having any other Assassin's Creed game. It's really cool. Super Mother Load, which was a neat game. Downwell is going to be free. That's all on PS Plus. Games with gold is Slime Rancher, backwards compatible Bayonetta, Trials Fusion, and Red Faction Armageddon. So it's a really good month actually for both of them. And exciting games. I never bought Just Cause 3. I always thought it seemed cool, but apparently the PS4 version was a little buggy, and what I heard about the progression didn't really interest me. But I'll definitely download it and play some of it now for the grand price of $0. So I'm excited about that. There was also a big ass PUBG patch that came out, but Hugh and I are probably going to talk about that on a separate thing. We might start like a separate little side, like maybe monthly, bi-weekly PUBG show on Twitch where we just talk about the game, because it's enough talking about it on this podcast.
We can see everybody else on the show just glazing.
Well, that's fine, Matt. Go right ahead.
Hashtag.
Yeah, exactly.
Swimsuit duck.
You can add that to your list of many podcasts, Matt. I don't know when you're going to find the time.
I don't.
So no, you don't. Definitely not. Just make Mara do it. She's not doing any podcasts right now, so
yeah, she's lazy.
Yeah, just write her a script. Yeah, exactly.
She's also gone. You can say that.
That's the first the first term that always comes to my head when I think of Mara. It's lazy.
Yeah, lazy. Bum. All she does is
she's a bum.
Sit. Yeah. She did.
All she does is write books.
I mowed today, so I was sweeping off the patio, and I said, "Hey, I think we're going to need to buy a leaf blower." And she said, "Oh, the broom doesn't work?"
Oof. Burn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It does. It does work, so I didn't have to come back.
Man. All right. Kelsey, before we get out of here, we promised some of this talk. I've got a list in front of me from a website called bustle.com, which has the 14 Degrassi couples that will never stop loving. So I'm gonna read them out to you, and I just want you to tell me
exact article.
I just want you to tell me agree or disagree, all right?
Okay.
Kelsey?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Jay and Manny.
Oh, agree so much.
Okay. I also agree. Ashley and Jimmy.
No, I don't like Ashley at all.
Me neither. I disagree. I disagree with this entirely. She was the worst. Imogen and Fiona.
Oh, agree.
Yes, definitely agree. Definitely agree. Darcy and Peter.
No, I don't like Peter either. Disagree.
No, Peter is might be the worst actor in the history of Degrassi.
That's a big statement.
Let's see. Johnny and Allie.
No, that was creepy.
No. It was creepy. There's only been ever. I don't think there's ever. Allie's only had ever really one good relationship, and that was with Dallas. That's his name, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Dallas, was that his name? Yes.
Yeah.
Drew and Bianca. I absolutely agree.
100%. I love Drew and Bianca.
Yeah. Adam and Becky.
I like them. I didn't like Becky in the beginning. I half agree. I'll say that. I half agree.
I didn't like Becky in the beginning either, but by the end,
she won me over. Yeah.
Yes, and Adam is one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah, I like
on
Adam
that show. This one I heartily disagree with. Holly J and Declan.
Disgusting. They were two obnoxious people. I hated both of them.
I ended up liking Holly J by the end, but Declan was like really stupid. Yes, absolutely. Craig and Ellie.
I didn't like Craig either. I liked Craig, but I didn't like Craig with anyone. I liked Craig alone.
Yeah, agreed. He was better with like his dysfunction alone than with somebody else.
Yeah. Except
totally.
In Degrassi Goes to Hollywood, when he was best friends with Pete Wentz, and I was super jealous, and they were eating ketchup chips, and I will never forget that.
JD and Elliot.
Oh man, that might have been the most Kelsey sentence I've ever heard.
He was with Pete Wentz. I was a little emo. I was so jealous.
All right,
ketchup chips.
Yeah, those are Canadian.
Yep, that's okay.
Yeah.
My favorite chip. My favorite chip.
Okay, that's a whole nother. We'll do the chips in a whole nother show. All right, you already said you love JT and Liberty already.
Mm-hmm.
Emma and Sean.
Okay, I agree for nostalgia.
Okay,
but Emma bothered me sometimes with Sean. Okay, I like Sean a lot though.
Eli and Claire. Obs.
Agreeing, yes, obviously.
Yes. And Maya and Zig.
No, I disagree. I'm going to disagree there, yeah.
Matt's nodding.
I like them.
I don't like... That's false. I don't like Maya, though, that much, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. All right, yeah. So that's our Degrassi talk.
I have no idea what the fuck anybody has been saying.
Daisy can do so much better.
Yeah.
Daisy can do so much better than Donald. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Especially when
Donald's
it's from
just a jerk.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
I mean,
Donald is a pantsless jerk.
Goofy once had like a really hardcore crush on a cow lady. Mm-hmm. And if that can be okay, then Daisy can date whatever animal she wants.
Exactly.
Except Pluto.
Well, no, Pluto's like a slave animal. So,
yeah, that's weird. I always found that weird.
We that's a whole other longer conversation. The whole Pluto, Goofy. One of them walks on 2 legs and talks. The other one walks on 4 legs.
Oh, and then you get into the DuckTales universe where the butler is a dog and like the criminals are dogs, and it's just like, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, no, it's
and Mickey Mouse controls them all. He's a tyrant.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Sure.
Whoever elected Mickey Mouse, all right? He just shows up and he's like, I'm the king of this world, all right?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking steamboat whistling away like a jerk.
The best thing was the delay, and I saw the movements before we got to what he was going to say, and I was like, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go?
Yeah. I was very interested in what is this? Yeah. What are these movements?
and then when you said it, you were not moving at all. And I just heard, I'm a fucking steamboat. It's real good.
I think I'm a fucking steamboat is the best way to end this podcast.
Toot, motherfuckers.
Follow us on Twitter at talking_games. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/talkinggames. Supposed to be a live stream tonight with Justin and I, but Justin got sick this week, so we're delaying that. We will be starting Outlast 2 very, very soon. Friday morning on twitch.tv/talkinggames. Me and Megs will continue our PUBG adventures. I'm not sure if Chuck will join us this week or not. Let's see. I think he finally got the game running. He's had some problems with that. And then I think next Friday will be full Murder Squad again because Hugh has off work again. So
and
that'll be
a
lot of fun. Check out YouTube. Let's just see about that. Don't say anything crazy, Hugh. Okay. YouTube.com/talkinggames videos for all the videos we've done, the PUBG stuff, Heroes Hideout with Sam and Cody, Ladies Choice, like Kelsey mentioned earlier. Sam just did Sundered, so check that out if you're interested in that game. Friday the 13th streams, Kelsey and Justin's Overwatch stuff. So we've got a lot of stuff still going up over there on youtube.com/talkinggames videos. You can follow me personally at Bobby Shortle. Matt.
I am at Johnny Matt Wood. You can also listen to me weekly on the Tales of Duck podcast.
Legendary DuckTales runs.
There's a bunch of reaction videos to me watching new clips from DuckTales.
Oh my God, and I would love this. I would love that to be real.
I have the technology.
They're all pantsless too.
Yeah.
Kelsey, where can we find you on the internet?
Twitter.
Yes, Twitter.
SSAMUS.
And Hugh.
I am at H_Paz on Twitter, and you can find me on the Insties at HughPaz.
Ooh.
Very nice, Hugh. Very nice. You're very up with the kids and your hip.
I'm pulling a Joey.
On the Insta. So but that's it for all our social media information. Next week we'll be back with another episode of the Talking Games podcast. But until then, thank you, Hugh.
Thank you, Matt.
Oh, there he is. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you, Bobby.
And thank you to all of you who are listening. Until next time, be good to one another.